Hey there, and welcome to the first episode of Coach's Corner. This is where coaches kick back, share their experiences, and dish out some coaching advice. First things first, let's get one thing straight. Room 212 doesn't take responsibility for any outside opinions you might catch on the show. Seriously, we can't put a lid on what our guests might say. Now, just so we're clear, the thoughts and ideas you hear on the show, they belong to our hosts and awesome guests, and it's all in the name of entertainment. We're not suggesting you go out and mimic anything you see here. So grab a comfy seat, relax, and enjoy the show responsibly. It's going to be a good one.
BJ Johnson here, Room 212 Network. First off, I got my man to the left of me. Dante, how you doing, Swing God?
Blessed, man. Can't complain. Just had a successful birthday last Saturday.
Okay.
July 22nd.
Happy belated.
Yeah, happy belated, man.
Shout out to that. So we got a new segment here we're going to launch, and we're very excited about. We have some esteemed gentlemen in here, former coaches or current coaches. This is what's, welcome you all to the Coach's Corner. To the left of Dante, please introduce yourself.
Gucci Washington.
Coach Stu.
Okay, welcome, gentlemen. Appreciate y'all coming through. Gucci, Washington, and Stu, where do y'all coach at, or what are y'all currently working on?
You want to go first?
Well, I'm the former girls basketball coach at University Academy. I am the new head girls basketball coach at the Grandview High School in Grandview, Missouri, home of the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're gonna make this let's flow, y'all.
That's like he said, the Grandview. Like, you had to pay close attention to that one,
Yeah, they do the University of Ohio State like that. Ohio State, okay.
That's his alma mater, too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, they hired a legend back easily. And I'm the director of campus recreation and intramurals at Rockhurst University. So, I took a bit of a pivot. Left the high school coaching scene. I'm now coaching at Pembroke Middle School. Well, just Pembroke Hill in general. They got the upper school and the lower school. So, I coach middle school girls now. And, of course, I do skills training, find out skills training. I can always look that up. Yeah, man.
You was a head coach, too, before that.
Yeah, I was a head coach at Bishop Ward High School.
Nice on the KCK side.
Yeah.
So just going back into and then Dante as well, you've been a coach and you're actively a coach, correct?
Yeah, this is my first year switching over to the girls. I was the head assistant boys coach at Van Horn High School. Now I'm the assistant girls coach at Winnetonka High School. So we'll be seeing Stu in conference. We're in the same conference.
He don't know when his baby get in high school, she gonna come to Grandview and play for me.
Already recruiting. I
don't want to think about her high school yet. That's keep it elementary right now.
So what's crazy is, not allow y'all to, each speak and kind of introduce yourselves, where it's interesting y'all all said y'all pivoting. It seems like y'all all pivoting in some way or some shape.
Yeah.
We can start with you, Stu. I would say you're the OG here at the table. No shade whatsoever. Just like you're wise. That's a great thing.
Right,
Exactly. So with you, just want to ask you, and we can obviously anyone else can pick up after this. What got you into coaching?
Just really being from Kansas City, and having the opportunity to venture other places because of basketball. I went to school in Arkansas, so I spent a lot of time in Little Rock, and just going to places like that, understanding the necessity for black men, leadership, black men mentorship, and just black men's prevalence in the community with the youth. So that was something that really weighed on me big. And what better way to do it than by sharing knowledge or sharing resources in a field that I love and have a passion for, which is basketball. That's the ultimate game.
That's amazing. What about you, Dante?
Honestly, I never wanted to coach. being the son of one of the pioneers for Kansas City basketball, I was always a coach's son, and then I think it kind of just rubbed off on me. And I remember I was in a point in time in my life where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was just like, man, I'm about to try this coaching thing.
Right.
And then it's just I think that's part of my personality to relate to, the kids, and like Stu said, just be a positive black influence to these kids that don't have the things that we would like them to have. So it's just more so I'm all about the kids. I could care less if I won 0 games or won a state championship. As long as the kids become better people in life, that's all I care about.
Right.
That's fire. That's fire. What about you?
I had a lot of coaches growing up. I played for a lot of great youth coaches. Also, I played for a lot of coaches in college, and I learned different styles from these coaches. And some were great. Some gave me a lot of influence just on life in general. And I think that was something I wanted to do for everyone else. Regardless if I was coaching girls or if I was coaching boys, I just felt that my mindset could probably be some substance for youth, for even if it's college players, some pros. I just wanted to be a positive influence in that regard. I was told in a number of cases that I couldn't do certain things, and I had to persevere through that and tell myself I can. And I just want to be able to let the youth know that it's possible, at any cost, regardless of what sport you play. So I may have coached you in basketball, but even if you say you want to go to college or something and play football or baseball, softball, volleyball, whatever the case may be, I wanted to utilize every resource that I had to help others. So I think coaching just became the ideal trait for me, and player development was just more of a, I didn't have a player development specialist until I met Boo Richardson. And I tell people that all the time. And, I think from that standpoint, I just wanted to be able to grow my game. 'Cause, through high school, I didn't have it. I didn't really have it like that. So, if I can do this on my own, why not take the knowledge that I learned amongst myself and give it back? So,
That's amazing. You got something to say, Dante?
I was gonna say I don't know what he talking about, because whoever was training him was giving him that work, because he the best big man I ever played with. So I don't know what he talking about. He didn't have it.
I did not know. No, seriously. I know. Real talk. Like, I did not have it. Like, I'll be the first to say, like, I was a big Shaq and Kobe fan, but my dad always made me watch Akeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan. So when people always ask how was I able to use the glass so well, I was like, you gotta understand, like, there's a lot of English that goes into the basketball. And I, would go to the park around the corner from my house, and I would just continuously utilize that. Remind you, it's not a square backboard. It's one.
I know you're talking.
So I mean, it's hard to shoot off the glass in that regard. On top of that, you don't have the square, so now you just learning where the ball should go. So I learned how to do that. And as far as footwork, I mean, Akeem Olajuwon had moves for days, and you can put them all into a blender.
Hey, it's 2023 now. You can tell everybody the truth.
Yeah,
Gucci used to do ballet, man. Gucci was like a dancing bear, man. Gucci was like a dance. He was like a dancing teddy bear, man.
I took tap dance in middle school too.
I used to call Gucci the big nimble.
So 6th and 7th grade, I took tap dance. The late great Ronald McFadden, he was my tap dance coach. So I mean, the dude was so talented, from a musical perspective, from a dancing perspective. And remind you, I didn't care for tap dance. I think it was like one of the last electives that was left. So, I had to tell my mom, I said, please don't tell Dad that I do this. If he shows up to a performance, he's going to troll me. Right. So I took an interest in it. I was just, joking around in the class. And then the teacher was like, look, if you don't get involved, like, you're going to lose participation points. So I told my mom, look, I'm going to need you to buy me some tap dance shoes. At first, I just had dress shoes, and then you can get the little taps and, like, put them around the shoes like a sensor. But then I ended up getting some actual tap dance shoes. And I think it was, like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks where I just, like, learned how to do routines. And Mr. McFadden was just, he was on top of things, but he was like one of the greatest tap dance coaches you can get. And next thing you know, I'm performing with the school and whatnot at the assemblies, and everybody like, what are you doing out here? Hey, I was kind of nice with it.
shout out to what was it, Mr. McFadden?
Yeah, Ronald McFadden. Yeah.
Hey, true story. We used to go. I take people. We go watch Gucci play in college. So he go play UCM. We drive. Take the girls. We drive down there. Go watch Gucci. So I took my partner to a game one time. I forgot who they were playing. They were playing at Rockhurst.
I
took my partner. So Gucci gets in. Gucci get the rock, and I yell, "Go at him! Go at him!" Hey, so my partner like, "Hey man, why he ain't on the block? He can't do." And I looked at him like, "Hey, Gucci hit dude with a jab step, went baseline, the defender slid in to help, he spun off of. Hey, my boy looked at me and said, how he move like that?"
I tell you, for real, that's a fact.
Hey, so notable story, you watch those podcasts with like Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson, and they say who's the first person to like, can I use my language?
Yeah,
no. They say the first person to bust your ass, right? Mm-hmm. So the summer of 2011, I play against Stu in a night hoops game at Hillcrest. I'm like, okay, I didn't play against Stu before. I know his game, I'm going to just try to defend it the best way I could. But little that I knew, Stu was in rare form. Stu was in rare form. We talking about Stu with the braids. Long braids, like cutthroat. You try him, he going to step to you like a man type thing. You try to talk shit to him, he going to talk back. Yeah. And I think I said something. I said, hey, man, you got to chill with the elbows. He was like, no, you got to learn how to play like a man, bro. He was like, I'm going to throw these elbows. And, hey, either you stop it or you don't. Either you going to foul out or you going to find a way to, like get past me or, you're going to learn how to stop me from scoring. I'm going to take it out the dribble. I'm going to take you to the block. I mean, look, either you stop me or it's hell day for you. I bullshit you not. Stu may have given me 30 and 10. And granted, he's playing in spurts, bro. Like he's slamming in and out the game. So
that's how I get my breath.
Stu is having his moments. He's getting in. He's getting in the game. He's going a quick 8. He's like, look, man, come get me out. He's like, come get me out. I said, man, I'm like, man, this dude, man, he a bully. You know what I'm saying, man? Stu at the free throw line, he talking to me like, yo, man, I got 2 degrees out here. I got 2 degrees, but hey, this is what you're gonna face. Right. You're gonna have to learn how to stop this now. And I think at that very moment, I paid heed to it, took it into perspective, and I just said I have to kill everybody who's out here. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's either kill or be killed. He's a JUCO dog. So it's like, now it's a mind thing. He was like, you go JUCO. If you don't step up now, it's gonna be hell for you. So, you gotta get to it. But yeah, that moment right there kind of solidified everything, and my relationship with Stu got really tight.
Yeah,
and it's been like that ever since. So I'm grateful for it.
No, so let me ask you this: is that we kind of went down a little memory lane. Question I have then would be, how would each of y'all's like former player self describe the coach version of yourself?
I'm gonna let Stu go first. On this one. I didn't see it.
I'm very transparent. Yeah. And one thing I know coming up in my era and being a JUCO product, which is something I'm super proud of, because junior college kind of made me. It was a part of branding who I became as a player and as a man. I played for a lot of coaches though, and some of those coaches weren't transparent. And I mean that conversation could be a whole nother conversation. But I think that I'm very transparent. I think in my transparency, sometimes it gets misconstrued for being a douchebag. Because I'm really real. You have a lot of kids and a lot of parents that want the Jada Williams experience, but they not putting in the Jada Williams work, if that makes sense. So when that work ain't there, but you saying that's what you want, I'm a hold you accountable, But I think that I'm a player's coach. Like I got some kids right now that are dogs, and I take them off the leash, So which is kind of rare for this region. You don't have a lot of that here. You got a lot of kids that are being held back. So I like to consider myself I'm a player's coach.
I could say the same thing. Like I said, I think more of myself as an empath, and I say that because I've been through a lot as a player, like lost a lot of friends and whatnot. So, this became bigger than basketball for me. But, I'm going to piggyback off what Stu said. There was a lot of coaches that weren't transparent, especially in the world of, either looking for a home or playing for a good coach. That JUCO experience was like the key for me. I didn't know what to expect. And let me tell you, no one's friendly. It's never friendly at the JUCO level. I'll be the first to say it. Like, ain't nobody just gonna hand you anything. You got to take what you want. And I had to learn that. I think in high school, you play on a stacked team. You're expected to win. At JUCO, there's no expectations. Everything you did in high school doesn't mean anything. So, and I think that my experience alone just helped me give that information back to the kids. And I was also more about development. If you're not putting in that work, how do you expect to get somewhere? Like everybody wants to be an All-American, but you got to understand the amount of time that it takes to, put in. Like that All-American stuff didn't fall into my hands. So as I look at myself, my former player self as a coach, I'm going to say I'm about as real as it gets, but I'm going to go about it respectfully. Just don't take me there. Yeah. Now I have to give it to you real thorough. I have to be sharp with my words. And like I said, no one wants to be an asshole. No one chooses to be an asshole. Sometimes you just have to unleash that dog in you for them to get where you're coming from. And I think a coach like me was needed. I had those coaches that did keep it real with me. May not tell me the things that I wanted to hear, but maybe what you didn't want to hear was everything that you needed to hear. Sometimes what you needed to hear was everything you wanted to hear. But, I try to put all that together and just give that back to all my players. So I hope me as a coach will be considered great for any player. So for myself as well, I think I'm what I needed.
Let me ask, and I thank y'all for that answer. With you, Dante, then we can segue down. Coach, all of us are men here. We all probably, we have boy teammates, men teammates, male teammates. Right. What was the driving factor to getting into girls coaching? Converting over, or just overall just converting over to coaching women, and because we can say if there is a difference, you can let me know. And kind of state what those differences are. But what was the passion to getting into coaching girls? Women?
Man, for me, it was my oldest daughter, Ju. She's 10, and it was crazy. So I coached 4 years at Van Horn. She used to, all access, be at practice, sit on the bench. Never wanted to play a lick of basketball. At the time, I was very busy. I was working nights. I'm one of those guys where you say you want to get better. I stay in the gym with you 2-3 hours after practice. So I remember one night she told me, she was like, "Dad, you spending more time with them than you do with us." And it kind of hit me. So I took a year off this past year, and the biggest thing was my demeanor of being more gentle with her and her daughter, and my youngest daughter and even my wife. And it's like out of nowhere, randomly, she's like, "Pops, I want to hoop." I'm like, hold on, what? What you mean you want to, hold on. You 10, you ain't never wanted to play basketball. Now you just randomly want to play. And never in my life, bro, all of y'all that know me, y'all know she used to dance and everything. When I say we are in the gym 7 days a week, every day. Our life consists of basketball, and I live with all women. I never thought that would happen, but it's just with the boys, I could say, "Come on, get your ass." You can be more direct with it. I remember we had a summer league game, and one of our players, she was like, "Coach, my stomach hurt," and I'm just like, the first thought I'm thinking is, don't nobody care about that. But then it's like, I can't say that to her because they don't have that type of demeanor. A boy, you can get on them and kind of talk bad to them, and they gonna take it out on the opponent.
Right.
With girls, you have to uplift them all the time, and you have to make them believe in themselves. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, don't get me wrong, you got some girls that's some dogs, but at the same time, you can't really approach them like you do boys.
Yeah.
Not saying like we talk down to the boys, but it's still a different demeanor.
Yeah.
Before
you answer, before you go, we want to say dogs as not a derogatory term. Meaning that you have killer instinct.
Dog mean that ape mentality, that Kobe mentality.
Yes. We're not promoting. Hold on. We're not promoting dog fighting. We're not promoting. We're not. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it's just killer instinct.
Shout out Mike Vick, man. I mess with you, Mike.
The thoughts and sayings of these individuals do not reflect Room 212 network's ideologies.
But all the hoopers know, it's just that when we say dog mentality,
Think of
it's just a
Mamba mentality.
Right,
We'll
Mamba,
say that.
yeah, we'll say
Mamba
that.
mentality. So
RP Coach.
y'all can continue on. I apologize.
Stu, you want to go or you want me to go?
I think for me, personally, it was I got a dog in the fight. I got a baby mamba in the fight. That was the main thing that jump started me, because I've been on the boys' side for several years. So that was the main thing that caused me to transition over to the girls' side. I've got 8 daughters. The oldest 3 play soccer.
You have no. Wait, you don't have no sons?
I do. I have one son. He falls dead smack in the middle.
Wait, one son, but 8 daughters?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smack
So
in the middle.
my oldest daughter just became the she just became the AD. She's the AD at Lincoln College Preparatory Academy now. That's right. And then I have 2 twins. One is a nurse. The other one is trying to find herself. She's a full-time student right now. Professional student. but my oldest 3 all played soccer. I've got a daughter that plays volleyball. Well, then here falls Noodle. And Noodle is going to be a junior this year. Of course, she's with me at Grandview. Well, she decides, she wants to play basketball maybe like 4 years ago. And I'm like, yo, you can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. Like, let's do this. Let's try running track. Let's try soccer. Your sisters play soccer. And she's looking at me like, nah, I want to hoop. So I let her tell me that like 5 times. Well, once I realized, okay, this is something that she really wants to do, I had to start putting her in position to try to, to get her prepared for these, So that was kind of what got me kick-started into leaning towards the girl side, was because of, my daughter Noodle. And once I realized that she was taking this seriously, it was kind of like, okay, I got to take it serious now, because the reality of it is there's no such thing as a lazy kid. You know what I'm saying? No kid is going to say, hey, it's 6:30. I need to go work out. It's 6:30 in the morning. I need to go run these hills. That's on the parent. You know what I'm saying? Right. So once I realized she was serious, then I had to get serious, and that's what's inspired me to take this to where I'm at now.
Gucci, do you have a daughter?
I do. I got a 2-year-old.
Is this would you say, is this similar? Because if it is, I have another question for you instead.
No, I mean, it was kind of different because I was coaching girls before my daughter arrived.
Okay.
So, honestly, I didn't think about the concept of coaching girls at all, honestly. I did some player development stuff when I was doing the graduate assistant at Avila, but by the time 2019 had hit, I was on my way out. I was about done with grad school, and the girls' job at Ward had opened up. My high school coach said you should go for it. I personally didn't think I was ready to be a head coach of any kind. Like, y'all could do AAU, but I said a level at the magnitude of high school ball, I didn't know I was ready or not. So I interviewed for it. I ended up getting the job, and honestly, I had to learn so much more about myself when I became a girls' high school coach. Like, I had to learn that I had to approach them different, and it came with some mistakes as time progressed. I learned that they were already against others. You know, like they were already, you know, they were pretty much alone in a lot of cases. So, you know, with me, I built my relationship early. I tried to build my relationship early with them by, you know, doing player development stuff. You know, I know they had a routine going on where my guy Bryce Rainey would get them in Sundays. I say, yeah, bring them all in on Sundays. I can do work with them too. And you know, there's rules in case where you can't do everything with them during that time, or you can't be on the floor with them. But it's also like, you know, how they're going to get development. I don't think they had a true resource with that. And I tried to give them everything just with that approach. Granted, we had a stellar year. It took one practice of me being a hard ass on them for them to turn it around, and I'm pretty sure they'll remember the infamous varsity practice only, where it was like 3 hours long, made them do a bunch of box out drills, a bunch of chase down drills, you know, just I had to make them fight with each other for them to understand, like, hey, you know, I don't want to have practices like this. So, but if you're not going to take this seriously, you got to understand there's girls out there that will fight you for everything that you have. And you know, that was me taking my mentality into them, but I had to learn how to be a lot more calm with them. So the following years, the COVID year, things kind of changed for me. You know, I found out, you know, my wife was pregnant, and then I've learned that I'm having a girl around Christmas time, and I'm like, oh man. So, you know, fast forward, you know, my daughter comes into the world, and there's so much I had to learn with my year. I'm, you know, 27 going on 28, so, you know, I don't know a whole lot about fatherhood. I'm making calls to Dante and other people who, you know, have young daughters to, you know, learn how to go about certain things, but, you know, it taught me how to love again.
Yeah,
I had to learn how to love again. That wasn't just my daughter. That was also for my wife too, because her and I, you know, we were at odds at a point in time, and, you know, my daughter really brought us together. It took some time, therapy, all kinds of stuff. And, you know, and I learned, you know, my first year coaching girls, you know, I could have gone about it in a number of ways. I could have gone about it differently. I had to learn how to be nicer. I had to learn how to be a little more transparent. Even when I got angry, I had to learn how to calm myself down. I don't think I knew how to do that. I just think that came from years of always being taught that a certain way. It's like, well, I think that's what I know. That's all I know. You know, if I could have done a little, you know, some things a little differently, maybe I would have. But, you know, I'm grateful for those lessons. You know, and with me having a 2-year-old, learning how to be firm and gentle. I'm still going through this process right now. My daughter's in
firm and gentle.
Yeah, firm and gentle. Like that's all my wife yells at me. Firm and gentle. Like me, I fall short every time. I'm weakened. Like, you know, either I give my daughter what she want, or she gonna take my attention off the things that I want to make sure I'm focused on her. And even with that, you know, I had to learn how to be patient in that regard. I'm still working on that as we speak. So man, it's a ball game for me. It's really a game changer, and I'm still going through it as I'm.
So it's like preparation.
Yeah.
They're preparing their daughters to come to Grandview and play for me. You know what I'm saying?
So can you coach? You start coaching at Ward in 19?
Yeah, 19.
So it sounds like from just grasping that. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you had to do a lot of unlearning and then reprogramming yourself,
Man.
And different. And it started with you coaching
Yeah.
the girls.
Yeah.
The girls at Bishop Ward.
Yeah.
That was like the introduction of the unlearning and reprogramming, and then it's now
So
carried
much.
over into your relationship and your new father, being a new father.
And on top of that, now me coaching 8th grade girls, like even that is different.
Yeah.
Granted, the job harbors less responsibility, but the responsibility I have to focus on now is their mental. And I think that's what I did in my last year at Ward. You know, I only had 6 girls that year. We had 6 girls and we went 11-3. And I'm just like, you know, I don't think they're in the best place right now. I didn't think most of them cared to even play. Like, it was just like, let's just get through the season and be done. And I would always ask, you know, how are you doing? How are you, you know, where you at mentally? Of course, they're not going to always talk about that stuff. They're going to keep that stuff within. But, you know, when it came to the matters of the girls that that I coached this past year, you know, did nobody expect a whole lot with them. So, you know, I had to make sure that I was calm with them, you know, have fun with them. I did like TikTok videos with them and all of that. I'm not even into that TikTok stuff, but I watch it. But, you know, that also helped me, you know, become a better dad. I'll bring my daughter around. They loved her. And I'm just like, man, you know, I can also be better mentally myself. So I'm still going through this growing process, and it's probably the best thing that could ever happen to me as a dad, as a father. Like, I don't, I never want to go backwards. So I'm always into taking more from all you fathers out here. Y'all experienced vets. I'm still a young rook in the game. So, it's a growing curve for me right now.
Appreciate that transparency. So then that kind of leads me to where I was going to go next was, and Stu, you can probably pick this up. How do you go about like balancing, work life, home life, coach life? You have all these different people that in a sense you're like either coaching or managing, or you're in somewhat of a parental like figure to.
You just have to find a median, a gray area, and a lot of times that means incorporating your family, whether it be your wife or whether it be your girlfriend, your kids, even the kids that aren't currently playing that particular sport, into the teams or the kids or coaching the sport is almost like being a preacher. It's a ministry in itself, and I say that, and I say that with experience, and with confidence. Like, you're not just a coach. You're a dad, you're an uncle, you're a big brother. You sometimes you are a problem solver. Sometimes you are a Uber driver. Sometimes you put on many hats when you take on this coaching facet, and not just with boys, but with girls too, because you got a lot of girls that come from single parent homes. You got a lot of girls that might not have nothing. You got a lot of girls that are, experiencing things in life that other kids might not be experiencing, whether it be financial, whether it be abuse, whether it be, and you have to be that front line of defense for that child. So, you just have to find that gray area. And a lot of times, like I said, it includes bringing, your spouse or your wife or your girlfriend and allowing her to understand, okay, this is your role with me. This is my role with them. I need you to facilitate this role too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm A, you B. Hey, we gonna make C happen.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing right there. It's like, I always look at basketball, sports in general as a family. Like, it's however many months, days, or whatever, and you spending every day with these people. And I never understood the type of coaches that like didn't bring an immediate family into the basketball family. Mm-hmm. So that's the main thing for me, is just like I said, every day at the gym, my daughters is gonna be with me. My wife comes, everything. She become the team mom, all that type of stuff like that. And then just seeing the dynamic of, because I'm more comfortable with coaching in the inner city schools. So a lot of times for those kids to see the family dynamic of a husband and a wife and kids, and they are a good family, that I feel like they respect you more, and it's like, dang, like I want that one day. So
is that because you say you feel more comfortable coaching inner city? Is that because that's your background?
Because it's more so like, I wouldn't say that the kids in the suburban area don't need, those positive impacts and stuff like that. But it's just like, there's kids that don't get opportunities. Like Stu said, like they just don't get it.
They don't have exposure
just to the facilities, the uniforms, they don't know when they gonna eat again. They don't like, so It's like that's what I'm doing right there. Yeah. Compared to, it's like it's a difference between waking up and you have choices on what you gonna do today, compared to a kid was just like, I don't even know where I'm asleep tonight.
Yeah,
right.
I remember it was funny when you just said the Uber driver part. Yeah, but my coach was an Uber driver before Uber was a thing. I remember that. Coach Ward, shout out to you. I remember he used to pick us up in his van. And what was I, 9th grade, 8th grade? It wasn't even like AAU, but I remember I was like, damn, he picking up 3 or 4 Wyandotte County kids, Grandview kid, North Kansas City kid. We all go to this place. But so we all like. You guys all either coach girls or will coach girls. what do you guys think is like the biggest like barrier to like getting more exposure or visibility to girls sports or just girls basketball in general?
I think realistically, it's the stereotype has been over the years that it's boring, it's slow, it's and those are things that unless you just in a dungeon somewhere, you completely just out the loop. Because it's transitioned so much. Right. You got girls. I could go pick 5 girls right now off my Instagram page that follow me on Instagram that can beat 5 boys. Realistically. You know what I'm saying? So the game has transitioned so much. So it's one of those things that back in the past, I would have said the speed of the game, the knowledge, and those were things that hindered the game. But man, it's evolved so much now. I'm gonna be completely honest with you and be completely transparent. I probably would go to a Las Vegas Aces game before I'd go to a OKC Thunder game.
I don't know what the Thunder. I just went to an Aces game. I was just in Vegas about a month ago. I went to an Aces game. It was lit because I used to go to. I lived in LA for a while. I used to go to Sparks games all the time. My homegirl worked there. So I went to Sparks. Aces, I actually prefer that even better because it's in a more confined arena and all that stuff. Okay, see though, they got shade, they got some people. But yeah, I get what you're saying. No, for sure.
I love no shade to OKC because I stay every time I go to OKC, I'm in Bricktown. You know what I'm saying? Right there on the corner by all the fine restaurants and the parties and clubs. But
so then talking to that point, we can kind of expand on that before we wrap up. Okay, cool. The stigma of it being boring or slower or less athletic or whatever the case, what can we do? What can from the male perspective, what can we do to help push women's sports more to get the proper attention that it needs and deserves? And I think that's a question that a lot of sports are trying to figure that out. What WNBA or the NBA with the WNBA?
I think just continuing to shed light on it. Social media is so prevalent now. So a lot of times people are asked, why did you repost this or why did you repost that? A lot of those young ladies I actually know and I have relationships with. Sarah Andrews down there at Baylor. She's been when I say this baby didn't know me from Adam. You know what I'm saying? But my daughter was a huge fan when she first started playing. And so as she started to develop, she started becoming, more and more fonder of Sarah Adams. She reached out, hey, Sarah, bam, anything I can do to be instrumental to her, coach, I got you. Kristen Williams up at UConn. Very instrumental in my daughter took the time out to literally send her a FaceTime message. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just some, hey, I hope all is well. It was an in-depth message and it encouraged my daughter to keep going. So when I say those things, I'm saying anything that we can do to be instrumental, whether it's a repost, whether it's buying their jerseys, whether it's supporting them, whatever commercial they're on or whatever brand they're representing, if we support those brands, anything like that, because it doesn't cost you anything to repost. It doesn't cost you anything to have a conversation. It didn't cost me anything to bring it up in this podcast, So those are all things that are free that we can do. And I believe if everybody does that accordingly and on a actual basis all the time, it starts to shed more light on them and it starts to shed more light on their craft, and it encourages people to look them up or look up whatever it is that they're doing.
That's great.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's it. I said, just more exposure.
So then, all right, we'll end it off on this one then. For a young lady that's wanting to, a young girl out there watching this, that's maybe 7, 8, maybe how Drew was 10, whatever, that wants to get into sports, and it doesn't have to be basketball, it can be track, volleyball, softball, etc. What would be the one, we can go down the line, one piece of advice that you would give them that if they're hesitant to get into sports? What's the one advice you would give them to how to get into sports, if they're in sports in general?
I think the main thing that I've noticed with girls in sports is, okay, I always give this example. Most men have egos, right? So you could have a scrub. Say, let's talk basketball. The guy knows that he can't hoop, but for some reason he still has the confidence and thinks he can play. With a lot of women, for some reason they don't. They're more so shy with it. So like I tell my daughters, I'm just like, you can do anything you put your mind to. Like it don't matter what you soccer, hockey, volleyball, softball, whatever. It's just like as long as you the common denominator in every sport is confidence. If you have confidence in yourself, everything else is gonna fall in place. So that's just be confident and do it with a purpose. Don't just go out there and say you're gonna do it just because you want to say, oh, I played softball. No, play it to be a winner. Play to be one of the best players that you've ever seen, So
I'm gonna piggyback off what Dante said. Girls tend to get discouraged a lot. I've had a number of athletes quit. Sometimes they've left during training sessions or tried to leave because a certain drill is too hard. My most important thing is, yes, the confidence part, but also being able to persevere through adversity. The best way to do that is being consistent. There's going to be things that you don't like. Like I've had girls, and honestly, all kids cry when I make a training day specifically made for left hand. The moment they can't use their left hand, they're just, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So, what I want to, the piece of advice I'll say is just to stick with it. No matter how hard it gets, it's always going to get better. I mean, I was told countless times that I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't taken seriously. I'm a bigger dude, or, he don't look like a basketball player. So what? I say now, if you look at the accolades today, it's like this wasn't based on any encouragement that was given to me by mostly anyone. It was more so me staying, being confident in myself, sticking to my craft, and really persevering through hard times. Hard times shows character. So, that's going to be the beauty of your testament. Once you get to that point of your life where you just feel like you're unstoppable, it's because you told yourself you was unstoppable. So once you be able to persevere through all of those hard times, no one who's even telling you you're not going to be good will be able to stop you, even if it's your coach. Sometimes you gotta blank all of that out. Just stick with it, persevere through it. Adversity sometimes is really a part of the story. Nothing comes easy. It's always the story, and I think that's my take.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I agree with both of you gentlemen, with Gucci and with Dante. It's just for any young lady that decides that they want to, whether it's tennis, whether it's volleyball, whether it's cross country, whether it's water polo, you just have to go into it knowing that this is something that you want to do, that it's for you, you're doing it for yourself, and you just can't care what anybody thinks about you. At the end of the day, if it's something that you want to do, whatever anybody else thinks about you or their opinion, it shouldn't even matter. We've got a baby she's a freshman at Ole Miss this year. This baby only been playing basketball for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? She only been playing basketball 3 years. Nobody knew her name. Mariah Noel, graduated from Bonner Springs. So in a matter of her walking in the gym down at Milestone, and coupled with her being athletic, coupled with her having an 8 mentality, she's in the SEC. Not only is she in the SEC, she's in the SEC, and the coach is raving about how she's performing in practice as a true freshman.
That's amazing.
But she comes from, I don't care what nobody thinks. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna go 100 times harder just to show you that I can do it, to prove you wrong. So it's just a mentality that you have to have. You can't worry about what anybody thinks about you, because at the end of the day, what people think about you isn't going to suffice when it comes to you trying to better yourself, or you trying to pay bills, or you trying to put food on your table, or keep a roof over what anybody thinks about you is not going to take care of all those those narratives. So you just got to believe in yourself. You just got to go out there and do it and know I'm going to try to be the best version of myself.
Absolutely.
I think that's greatly put. I think that's an amazing place to leave off at for the first installment of the Coach's Corner. Gentlemen, I want to thank you, Coach Stu, Gucci, Dante. Appreciate y'all time today. Appreciate y'all, and we're honored to have y'all part of the first installment. If you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment here what was your favorite part here in the into this episode. Until next time, peace.